news flash on what I've been doing. I didn't film it obviously, but yeah, I fought with the bolts, engine mounts, front of the engine, got those out. I thought while we're this deep into surgery, we might as well keep opening it up, keep going. No, it'll never be easier. Radiator's off, obviously, you've got access. So I'll show you what I've done. Just bought Mr. Forky in, my homemade lifting boom. Made that years ago, haven't broken it yet, so it must be certified. And hung a come along chain hoist off it and just hooked on the front of the engine and lifted. I'm not sure, I think we've got to lift this up enough to lift these up out of there. I think it's going to be a bar job. Don't want to put my fingers in there. Yeah, I want to get them out and have a look, do some measuring. I'll go online and see what we can find, and if it needs some, I'll order them. As I say, now's the time to be looking at all that stuff. I don't know how these, knocked everything down, I don't know how these come out. Well, that's vulcanized to that centre bush. And they come up from the bottom. I'm going to get a hammer and have a knock. See, I don't always show you the perfect stuff on my videos. I have problems as well, like, yeah, see they've got like a big mushroom end on them. I don't have much luck with bushes, eh? I ruined the, well, I didn't ruin the cab mount one, but certainly didn't do it any good trying to get it apart. Right, I've made a shaft up with a recess on it to go up into the steel bush. I'm just going to put a bit of pressure on. I've got a jack under it. And expand. Oh, that went with a bang. Right. Should stretch the back mounts right. Oop, sheet out. Good luck on getting that back in. So, I'll try and show you. There's the shaft, and I just turned it down a bit so it sits up in the steel bush. Didn't jump off. Alright, they're buggered. Made the right choice. They're worn out. Yeah, that there was confusing me. How it's pushed up on the end. I just didn't understand what was going on there. Now, do a lot of measuring and see what I can find online. Okay, I'm just going to show you what I'm up to here. I've got a plate of steel, not sure what it is in thickness. Let's have a normal tape here. What are we? I don't know, 10, 11, about 12 mil, if we're talking mils. I want to make an exhaust bracket. I would love to have the genuine Peterbilt cast one to go on there, but yeah, just such a headache to try and obtain one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the plate, and I'm going to pick up the 5 holes here, and I'm just going to bolt the plate to the chassis when I'm ready. But I've done a bit of research and found something I think I'd like. I want to do like a I'll say a 4x4 or 100x100 box section, put it on a big taper there and bring it up, and then up for the muffler to go on up here beside me. And then I'll look at putting a stay bracket across to the other side there, and threaded rod obviously so I can tension it, take the weight of the muffler. I don't want to twin stack this truck, no need for it. As I said, it's going to have that industrial look about it, so that's what I'll run with. So I'm just going to cut this plate off and I'll just show you a couple of snippets as I work the way through it and mark it and drill it. Here we are with what I've done. Cut the plate, cleaned it up. So I marked some lines, centre lines up through the holes, and we're going to mount it on up onto the rails so I could get the correct distance on the plate, and I've squared it to the frame. And then I had a straight edge I just used on the tank mounts here. I've put through, I just held it there, and I'm going to use 4x4, obviously not this piece. This is extremely heavy wall. It's the only piece I've got in the shop at the moment. Just to give me an idea with the angle that on there, obviously it's all going to be cut angle, that I was going to clear the tank. So the answer is yes, it's all going to work. I'll just take that off now and I'll go and draw that. I'll do the same on the other side for a stay bracket, but I'll show you that. It's only going to be 2 holes, and then I'll weld something to it to bring it up above the rail and put a bracket on. Just putting some pilot holes in this plate before I drill it out to the size it's got to be. Show you a little bit. Here's the plate on the frame. It's just hanging on those 2 top bolts, and I've done it. Holes all line up, so the ruler must have been reading right today. Yeah, I think that'll be all right. I don't have the, as I said before, I don't have the box section that I'm going to manufacture the frame out of yet. I have to go and get that. I'll go around the other side and make the plate to put the stay bar down to. I'll go around and do that. Another news flash update. I'm slowly working away at the exhaust system, bracket, hold the muffler. So yeah, I've found a design I liked off Facebook. I think they use 100 by 100, but yeah. So I've got some 100 by 50 or 4" by 2" timber here. I'm just trying to work out all my angles. I'm one of those technical engineers. I just cut and keep cutting until I work it out, because I'm no good with maths and I don't have an angle square or whatever you call them. So I've mocked that up just to show you what I've done. I've measured all the cab, so I figured out where the center is, where it drops down on the side here of the cab. I found all that. I've marked that on the fuel tank bracket here. So I've got center of the exhaust system, and the muffler's 10". So back of the muffler will end up there. So my thoughts are, time that comes up with the box section up through here in a straight line. It's roughly the middle, so I can mount the muffler against my box section. Yeah, and that should come back out and be in line with the centre of where the exhaust has to pass through, under the cab and around and we're going to make another little bracket here. I've got some supports here. I'm just in the process working backwards with all that through there, and obviously on the turbo flexi pipe. Thought I'll show you. So now I'm going to cut the upright piece of wood and work out the height I want for that to clamp the muffler to. I'll get that sussed. So, but my idea of this, to cut all my angles, I'll just nail this wood together, and then I can just lay it on my steel and I can cut the angles then. It's a lot easier and cheaper to cut bits of wood than it is to cut steel 3 times and get it wrong. Right, change of plan for material I'm going to use for the upright bracket. Went for a bit of a walk down the back of my yard and got all sorts of crap laying down there. I knew I had a piece of box section somewhere. It's galvanised, but it's alright, we can live with that. So Imperial were 3, it didn't work with the light. 3x3 or I think it's 75 by 75. Not sure what the wall thickness is. Never read it on here anyway. What are we? About 5 mil, I think, wall thickness. So carrying that length, and I'm going to cut it off at this mark here, so a little bit of the SXS. There's a lot of weight in that, so yeah, try and reduce a bit more off the truck. And as I said, I'm going to stay it. So right, my next problem was I've got a you might see it out there on the trailer, got a drop saw, but yeah, I struggle for the angle. Can't get that angle there, it's too much. So I'm just going to run the placement here and just placement that off. It's not as good as what I want. Yeah, don't have a bandsaw, so see how we go. Okay, here we are with the bracket. I've mocked it up on the floor here just to show you what I'm doing. Got a straight bit of angle iron steel, so that'll be equal to the plate when I weld it to it. So in theory all that should be parallel off the chassis of the truck. So I've got my joint there, equal distance there, equal distance there. So I'll just do a couple of shots as I build this and see how it turns out. Okay, next stage of the build. The farmer's been at it again. So I did my joint, got all that welded up, and put a plate on there. So I thought about how I was going to put the plate, the mounting plate, onto the whole bracket and get it all square. So I've sat it on the floor there. I've put the level on the plate, got that level, obviously squared everything. And my next maneuver was to put the level on the exhaust bracket, so that's sitting level, and I just used a jack under it just to sit there and bring it up until it was correct. And I checked it vertically as well, so it's sitting there square on everything. So who knows, we'll put it on the truck and probably find that it's got a 10-degree list one way. We'll worry about that when it happens. So I haven't fully welded that yet, it's just tacked into place. I've got to figure out how I'm going to mount the muffler to it next. Make some half rounds, plates to go on here and retain the muffler. I don't know, I just make it up as I go. Figure something out. So we've got to put a cap on the end of this pipe yet too. I was thinking about building a fancy one on there, but I think that's a bit beyond my skill set. We'll have a look. Okay, the farmer engineer back here for an update. I've got the bracket welded to the plate. Managed to super glue that on. No warranty. So yeah, I've got a couple of bolts through it just to locate it. And I've started mocking up my stay bracket. It's not a very tall bar, that muffler's going to sit up above it. Right, so on this side here, I've bent the bracket. I've just got it clamped there, with an idea of what's happening. So I now obviously have a stay bar back down to this side of the truck to support that, what I've built. So I've bent this up in the press, got a place here, picked up some bolt holes. Unfortunately, it can't go in the centre of this plate. It doesn't line up with that over there. It's quite obvious when you put something through it. So I found the centre of that over there, marked it on the rails, so that'll just have to go on there. But that's okay. The mounting plate was there to pick up the holes. That'll never pull off. So yeah, I'm just going to stitch all this together and give you an update after that. To get my angles, I've got a bit of rod here. I sat through that hole, and I'm assuming I was sitting pretty flat in there, a bit of a lock. And when I put my other bracket on this end, I had a look and it's sitting square to the hole, not far out. And it also gave me a visual on the line. It's going to be alright when you walk past the truck and you look from the side. That there, it's not going to be like that. It's going to be lined up with the bottom, I hope. And here we are, finally got it all mocked up, sitting on there. Got the stay bracket made, so I'll just show you what I've done there. Bit of 25 square, and yeah, I just had some old bolts, cut the heads off, put them in there and welded them in the end of the rod. Double nutted it so I can put some tension on it later on. I'll go around the other side and I'll show you what I've done up there. So this side, same thing, just bent a bit of steel in the press and halfway up the pole. Well, that's halfway there. And yeah, put a couple of little gussets in there. Put that in there like that. That'll be double nutted as well. My friend and I, we had a talk whether we should put, I should put some rubber on there, like a rubber shock type system. Yeah, I'm still thinking about that. I can still put a shock in there if I have to, and we can wind it up against it to take any vibration. I'm sort of of the opinion, I think we'll mount all the muffler and get all that on there and get some weight on it and give it a hit, see what it's going to do. If it's going to vibrate and flex with a bit of tension on it, well, I've got to change my plan of attack. But overall, it'll look pretty good when it's all painted. But yeah, as I said before, my next thing is, I actually don't even have the muffler for it yet. I just went out and measured the one on the Freightliner. I need to get a muffler and put some brackets on here and figure out how I'm going to make the clamps to, I mean, none of it's hard to do, it's just making it look right. That's all. As I said, industrial look, that's why I'm building this myself. Wanted a show truck, we wouldn't be doing it like this. But overall, I'm pretty pleased with it. Time will tell if I ever get it on the road and we use it. Might look in the rear view mirror and wonder what all the sparks are. Yeah, muffler following behind. Right, being what I am, you can go to town and buy these things, but not me. I'm going to go out making it. So I got some straps of steel here. And I'm going to try and make some band clamps for the mufflers, or mufflers, sorry, when I go and get it. Ooh, too steep. Up a bit. Too tight a bend. Buggered it up. Just hammering it into shape, I think. Backed it off a bit. Let's see what this one does. This one's a bit better. Yeah. Learn from your mistakes. I am a first time caller for this, so bear with me. Get that back in there. I'll adjust the tension a little bit. That's straight. Quarter of a turn. Too much. Tell that's too much. That's right. I'll open it up a bit. Oh, damn near perfect. Happy with that. Yeah, a little bit of hammering required just to get the last little bit there, but yeah, that's cool. I do not hide my disasters. I might go and just tweak that a bit and try and re-roll it. Right, sorry I didn't show that. I went down and put it in the anvil, and I just carefully got a bit of the bend out of it, a little bit just there, and I've just re-rolled it. So second one, well sorry, first one, there's the second one, and so that's going to be all right. Weld some brackets on there to mount it to what I built. Just hoping I can go and get a 10-inch muffler. I'll give them a little tweak when I'm finished, just to get the last little bit on a round surface, but yeah, no, pretty cool. Right, you saw that I made the circles before. I'm using the same tool here. Just go over, come back. I'm going to bend some brackets up. You'll see what I'm going to do with them soon, I'll show you. Right, one bracket made. I'll take you down and show you what it's for. So this is what it's for, what I've done. There's my circle to go on the muffler. I've made some pieces to go on here to put bolts through to close that up, which I don't want to do yet till I've actually got the muffler, to make sure it is 10-inch. Could end up with a 9 yet, so I can always adjust the strap. And then what I just bent goes on there, and I'll drill through, and I'll put a mounting plate up on the box section on the truck. I'll show you that when it's done. Right, went shopping today. They didn't have everything I wanted in stock, but that's all good. They were really good to me in there where I went. Yeah, I ended up with, got one band clamped, but that's not the important stuff at the moment. And dropping steel everywhere, and a couple of clamps from flexi to solid pipe. Let's put this up down here, and I've made these brackets, and I have, turn that around, They're a one-off custom bracket, so I've marked them so I know when I weld them all up to the bracket and make the rest of my brackets for the mufflers that I know what way they're going to go, otherwise the holes will never line up. No two things are the same. And you got that to go into the turbo. One clamp I needed for one of the brackets I'm going to use for mounting to hold it. Right, I've got the muffler. It's a 10-inch muffler. Yeah, I made those band straps. I've just got that on there, just pulling up so I can get my true radius. So I've made, as you just saw, the other. So they're going to get welded onto the straps on there, and I'll just get all that in the correct position, put the seam of the muffler against the stand and all that, so it's semi-hidden. And I've just put one of the brackets up on the stand there, just squared it, should be center. Something I was playing with is, it's a little bit hard to do because they didn't have any elbows in stock, but they'll be here a couple of days time. So I've tried to work out the height that my pipe's going to pass through under the cab. Done a lot of measuring. It's going to be funny when I put the cab on and it doesn't work. Holding the rule the wrong way around. So yeah, I've got my height there. I've tried to, they did have one elbow in stock. It was had somebody else's name on it, but I measured it up and give me some idea. So yeah, I'm trying to come up. I've tried to mark where the bottom of the muffler is going to sit. It's all an estimate for this. So yeah, where my first bracket's going to be, and obviously the top one I'll only bring that down a little bit off the top and put it, because there's going to be quite a bit of muffler. It's going to probably, yeah, I could measure it all, but there's going to be quite a bit sticking out the top with no support, so we're only going to grab it from down the bottom here somewhere, down there, and just over the halfway mark. But it should be right. I'm going to have a short tail pipe, top pipe on it. I don't like tall pipes, there's too much weight, vibrates and breaks everything off. Well, I haven't had much success with any other truck I've had. Always broken the top out of the muffler or broken the stays or brackets. So as you know, I made these. Yeah, it's taken me a long time. You're probably better off just to go and buy something that does the job, but where's the fun in that? Got to have a challenge. I've got the other one over here. Looks a bit screw-whipped, doesn't it? When it's put together, it's okay. Time will tell. I've tried to put those on the correct angle, those there, and I'll put them on. So when they're all on there, they're all straight with the bolt through them. These bands I made, there is a possibility I'd have to do a bit of measuring, probably wouldn't work. Might be able to put a 9-inch muffler. I don't think so. I wanted to give them quite a bit of space, so I was guaranteed they were going to clamp. I didn't want to bind them up, have that problem. Anyway, we'll tack these mounting brackets onto this upright and carry on moving forward. So here's the brackets, stitched them together. It's got that on there to get the radius. So as I say, I've marked them, they're filed, so when I paint them I'll still be able to see the file marks, or sorry, hacksaw marks, so I know which one's which for up there on the truck. Yeah, I just got to weld them up. Soon know if they're going to work or not. It's been a challenge, but it's what it's all about. Okay, here we are with a bit of an achievement. Been welding brackets and mocking it all up, and we've managed to come up with this. Got that sitting on there. Just an old pipe I had laying in the shop here. I just stuck it on there. The white mark, sorry about the light, move around a bit. There's a white mark up there on that top pipe. It's cab height, so it's about all we want sticking up above the cab here. With the places I'm going to go, or I do go, yeah, always back roads, low-lying branches, Yeah, that's why I don't run a tall pipe on the Freightliner. I've hit a few things. Does a lot of damage when you hit that. So we'll keep it short. I'm not sure what I'm going to run on the top yet. As I say, it's just something I had. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with how all the brackets worked out. All mounted up okay. I tried to put the mounting brackets so obviously the back of the cab will be here. Obviously going to get blasted and painted. Got that done up temporarily. Got the stay arm on. I welded a little hook on here, so put the checker plate on. Not sure where that's going to come to. Might only be a short one. And our airlines will go on here, so I can run them through and just hang a bungee off there, hold the cords up. So I'm just waiting on the rest of the hardware to come in. I may not run a heat shield on the muffler here, chrome one, sort of keeping that industrial look. Something I can always fit afterwards. I've actually got the brackets for it, and I can get a heat shield if I think it needs it. I think it's just something I'll build as the truck goes back together, and it doesn't require obviously paint work and that. If I do put a chrome shield on there, it may need it to break a few things colour wise. I don't have any experience with painting trucks and colour paint schemes. We'll just make it up as we go with everything else I've done so far. I mean, until you get the tanks painted and put back on the truck. Somebody suggested to me that maybe I even paint the straps for the tanks instead of polishing the aluminium. Continue the white off the cab down onto the straps. Or just, as I say, there's just a lot of, just do a temporary spray, just try it, sit it on there and see what you think of it. Because I'm going to have the black rubber under the strap with the fold over piece. So that's sort of going to break the lines a bit. Semi-polished alloy wheels. Not that I'm one for polishing, but clean them up. I'll paint these, it's got steel buds on the inner. I'll paint those the same as the frame colour. Paint the brake drums and the hubs, I think the same colour as the frame. Follow that look right through. So yeah, we're slowly, I was actually talking about it to my boy last night, actually getting to the point where I've stopped pulling things off the truck, and we're actually sort of building a little bit now and getting to the point where I'm going to start obviously blasting and painting if the weather plays ball with us. And it's sort of, yeah, it's turning the table a bit, going to bolt things back on and ordering a lot of bits.